morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Abigail Murray. I'm the Enterprise Development Associate at the Saldanha Bay IDZ. It is my honor to welcome you to our second Togasi session for 2016. Togasi stands for Talks on the Oil and Gas Industry. And with the sessions, we aim to educate on the oil and gas industry and then to inspire small businesses to develop themselves and ready themselves for this industry. Normally, we utilize the services and expertise of Benedicta Mahlangu, who also works for the IDZ. She has extensive experience in the industry. Unfortunately, she had to go to China, or fortunately, to then also further develop herself and then learn about how to at best roll out our ease of doing business unit at the IDZ. So today we have as our guest speaker Mr. Derick Wright, who represents the agents in the oil and gas industry, who will tell us a bit about his world. And from there, I think we expect businesses to gauge where they will fit into that space of theirs. And then, as I said, to then develop the business so that we can maximize on the opportunities that the oil and gas industry will present to us once the IDZ is fully fledged. So without further ado, I present to you Mr. Derick Wright. Thank you.
All right, good morning everybody. My name is Derick Wright, as you've just heard. Just a little bit about myself. I'm a born Westkesser, born and bred in Saldanha Bay. I started my shipping career as a stevedore in 2000 working for South African Stevedores, which is now Bidwest Port Operations. I worked myself through as a foreman and a supervisor, and then after a short stint in Port Elizabeth, and did some training as well in Richards Bay. I moved into Ships Agency in 2006 at Rennie Ships Agency. I was there until the second quarter of 2013, where I did a 6 months little spell at GAC, a rival ships agency, before returning to Rennie Ships Agency in 2014 as the operations manager, which I am still holding. I am also the chairman for SASOA. This is a ships association, basically the governing body for all ships agencies in South Africa. I've been holding this position since 2012. Training requirements, like I put there, is mostly in-house training. The funny thing about ships agency, you can't learn for it. It's something you learn on the ground while doing it. There is some diplomas. I did the understanding of shipping course, and I'm doing the advanced diploma starting in the next few months. All right, we'll be covering just quickly on the vessel types typical to Saldanha Bay, just a general overview of vessel sizes, then the agency types and roles, the vessel role players, vessel charter types, and then getting into rigs and the agent's role in it. I'll also just touch on estimate, Proforma, disbursements accounts, a very important thing when getting to rigs and working them. All right, first thing is the vessel types in Saldanha Bay. First vessel we have here is a normal bulker. They normally attend to the multi-purpose terminal, which will be the terminal on your left-hand side. They are normally geared vessels with 2, 3 or 4 cranes. Hold configuration, as the picture is for 5. They can also have 2, 3 or 4 holds. They normally load up to 50,000 tons of cargo at a time. These are used for the export and import of the pellets, the coils, the manganese now, small parcels of iron ore, and then also some of the sand products. The only restriction for these vessels are a draft of 13.5 meters, which is the restriction at the terminal itself. Next vessel will be the Capesize. That's the big ones loading all the iron ore at the end of the terminal. They are all gearless. As you can see, they've got 9 holds. They get loaded by appliances, the big ship loaders on the quayside. Between 180 and 2,000 tons of cargo at a time. Normally takes about 24 hours to load. That's why you always see movement on that quayside. The next one is the tankers, which they're normally about 2 a month coming to Saldanha Bay. They discharge and load crude oil from Saldanha Bay. They are purpose-built vessels. You'll see on the middle of the vessel there is the pumping setup. Everything is pumped in and pumped out of the vessel. She's purpose-built for us, and she can normally take about 950,000 barrels of crude oil at a time. Now, the vessels we want to see more of in Saldanha Bay is the purpose-built heavy lift vessels. They are built specifically to carry rigs, other vessels, whatever they can fit onto their bay. They are semi-submersible, as you can see there, just to ease the loading and offloading of the product. All right, so just an overview of the size of vessels. Mini bulk carriers, small handy size, handy max. They are all vessels that will go to the multi-purpose terminal. The dead weight is the full weight of the vessel, including all the cargoes it's got on board. You'll see also the Seaway Max, Afrimax, Zeus Max, Panamax, and the Malacca Max, including the Cape size. The reason for their names is this is where the limits are for these vessels. As you can see, the Zeus Max and Panamax, the vessel is made just to make it through the Panama Canal. Same with the Zeus Max, Cape size, because they come around the Cape of Good Hope, they will call Cape size vessels. The sizing nowadays has gone a bit blurry because of the different sizes. The Panama Canal has been dredged deeper now. But yeah, that's just an overview of vessels there are. For the iron ore terminal, the Panamax and the Cape size vessels are the majority we do. And then for the tanker will be very large crude carriers, the VLCCs. The ultra-large crude carriers and the VLBCs are too big for Saldanha Bay. They normally run only from Brazil to China. I think China at the moment only have 2 ports that can actually take the VLBCs, the very large bulk carriers. Interesting, they take about 400,000 tons of cargo, which is double the amount that one of our vessels take here in Saldanha Bay. All right, now we get on to the agency stuff. There is 4 types of agencies. You'll have your shipper's receiving agent, your owner's protecting agent, or husbandry agent, your port agent, and lastly, your charterer's or cargo agent. The shipper's or receiver's agent is the agent working for the shipper or receiver of the cargo. He does all the paperwork with customs as well as the port to clear and forward the cargo for the client. Bill of lading, the bill of lading is like the check that you sign for the cargo, which means you will have, when the cargo is loaded, the bill of lading gets signed up, which is, well, we call it the check in shipping, which will then get shipped to the receiver, and he can only receive his cargo from the owner or from the captain of the vessel if he presents the bill to the captain. Yeah, and then the statutory documents and as well as the custom cargo clearances to get the cargo out of the port. The owner's protecting or husbandry agent is the agent looking after the vessel itself, the owners, the crew, as well as maintenance work on the vessel. Your functions there will be arranging for doctors and dentists, radar repair, repairs on vessel, cash to master, stores delivery. The agent normally, it's a very simple function to do, as you only have to look after the simple little things for the crew itself, and all this stuff can be arranged prior to the vessel's arrival. Your port agent represents the operator of the vessel. The owner can also be the operator, but we'll get into that a little bit later. As a port agent, you are the one nominating the vessel to the port authorities. You arrange for the arrival of the vessel, the berthing, the working, the sailing. You attend the pre-plan, you make sure the berth is allocated. You also handle the vessel disbursements, which is the money aspect of the business, where the other agents, like the cargo agent we get to now, will liaise with you to get his money from, as you will be handling all the funding. As you see at the bottom, you also coordinate with the cargo or the charterer's agent. The charterer or the cargo agent represents the charterer, which will be the person that is actually buying or selling the cargo. You handle all the onboard cargo functions, which make sure the vessel gets loaded correctly, all the cargo gets on board, all the documents gets done, which is, we have a notice of readiness, authorization to sign the bill of lading, there's a statement of facts, major seats manifest. But yeah, we make sure everything that gets done. We're also responsible for the loading or the discharge operations on the vessel, and we liaise with the port agent that will bring the vessel in the port for us to load. Just one more thing on these, your one agent can handle all those functions as one shot. So I can be the shipper's agent, the protecting agent, the port and the cargo agent for a vessel. Or we can have 4 different ones at a vessel. Nowadays, it is more that your shipper's agent, your port agent, and your cargo agent will be one person, and the owners will have their agent. They will only handle the formalities for the owners and crew. The owners' matters has nothing to do with the loading of the vessel. That's why the shipper's port and cargo agent can be one agent, and the owner's protecting will be the second. Right, now we just get into the role players in shipping. You will have your owners of a vessel, disponent owners, operator, and then your charterer. The owner can be referred to as the original owner of the vessel. He is ultimately responsible for the vessel itself, the crew, and maintenance on board. He is not usually involved with any cargo operations, just that the cargo is being carried on board the vessel. The disponent owner, sorry, let me just get back to that. So basically, we always use the analogy of a taxi, because that's the easiest one to do. The owner is the person that actually goes and outright buys himself a Mercedes and names it a taxi. So I will be the owner, I've got a taxi. Now we get a disponent owner. So I will go to Porsche, for instance. Porsche will have contacts and business at the airport to carry people. So I will lease my vehicle to her. I will still pay for my driver, I will still pay for the fuel, but she will handle the operation of the vessel. So as you see there, it will be for a period of time, so I will tell her for 6 months, you can use my vehicle, I want $100 a day out of it. She will decide where she'll go with the vehicle, where she'll pick the people up, where she'll offload it, and all the costs will be for her. So the cargoes as well. She can decide if she wants to take 1 person, 2 person, 5 people, that's up to her. As long as I get my share out of the deal, I'm a happy man. The operator will be now the 3rd person in line. So if I was the owner with my taxi, Porsche is the disponent owner, which will handle the operation, she will get a 3rd party. That will be the company actually handling it. So she will then release my vehicle to this company. They will take the vehicle for a certain period of time, and then they will do the operator of the vessel. The last person is the charterer. So if there is a disponent or a normal owner, the charterer will be the person that wants to get this vehicle. So I've got my taxi, I'm leasing it to Porsche. Porsche gets Protea Hotel as the charterer. Protea Hotel wants her to carry people from Saldanha Bay to the airport for the next 3 months. So they will write a charter party, which is the contract between her and them. There is costing involved, and then the time and the voyage is up to her. So Protea Hotel will say, we want our people picked up at 8 o'clock in the morning and delivered at 11 o'clock at the airport. So it is up to Porsche to make sure this gets done as per the contract she will have with Protea Hotel. Okay, so just the layup as we just discussed it now. So as you see, Seawise Marine will be the disponent owner, which will be, let's get on top, sorry. Vessel Jolly Roger, owner Costco Shipping, which will be me in our example. The disponent owner will be then Porsche, which will then make a deal directly with, say, Manganese Mining, which will be the hotel to carry our people, which will be a fixed term contract for 6 months. Second scenario, okay, same scenarios. Porsche will be again, but this time she will be the charm charter and the operator. So she will only handle 1 trip for Protea Hotel, which, okay, Manganese Mining, 1 trip to take 1 set of people from here to the airport. And then the last one will be Porsche giving the vehicle to somebody else, which will be the time charter and operator, and then for 6 months, we will carry Manganese Mining's cargo to and from their designated place. All right, now just a quick one on the vessel charter types. You have voyage charter, time charter, as well as a bareboat charter. Voyage charter is the hiring of the vessel and the crew for a voyage between the load port and the discharge port. So the costing and the repositioning is for the owner's account, which means I want a vessel in Saldanha Bay between the 10th and the 15th to come and load my cargo. It is the responsibility of the owner to have the vessel here in time to load the cargo. I will only pay the respondent owner a lump sum or a cost per metric ton, which means if I want to load 50,000 tons, I will charge you $2 a ton to carry your cargo. All the tugs, pilot fuel costs will be for the owner's account and not for yours as a charterer. The stevedores, loading operation, the port formalities, all that will be handled by yourself. And then the voyage is normally done in terms dispatch dispatch or CQD, which is cargo quick dispatch. Dispatch and dismarriage basically means if I have to take your cargo to China, you have 4 days to load 50,000 tons of manganese in Saldanha Bay. Anything you do quicker than the 4 days, you make dispatch, which means you get money back out of the deal. The marriage is if you go over the 4 days. So if anything is wrong with your vessel and you cannot load at the speed that you signed the agreement with, you will pay the marriage, which means there's penalties payable on your offloading or loading of your vessel. The time charter is when you hire the vessel for a certain period of time. So I will rent a vessel for a period of 6 months to carry cargo from Cape Town to China, from China to India and back to South Africa. I am then responsible for the vessel, the fuel cost, the port cost. It is all up to me. The owner is only responsible for the crew on board the vessel and the general running cost. If there is any damages to the vessel while at the voyage, we normally call it on and off hire. The vessel will be taken off the hire, which means I will not pay for it, and the owner is responsible to get the vessel fixed up and give it back to me when I will take it back on hire again. The last one is the bareboat charter, which is the Demise charter. Basically, this is like a long-term lease on a vessel. You, as the charterer, will then obtain full control of the vessel, including all the legal formalities, the crew, cargo, everything. It is normally for longer periods of time, and where you can actually acquire the vessel after 20 years of handling the vessel. Naming and branding of the vessel is also allowed, so I can call it the MV Derick Wright if I want to. All right, now we get to the rigs and the role of agents we play in the rigs itself. We are the liaison between the owners, port managers, and the service providers. The second part involved is normally an engineering company like Dormac, DCT Doorbell, one of the big ones. They normally act as the site manager on the vessel. We all provide the costing and the quotes for jobs required onto the rigs. We, as the agents, will arrange for the berthing or the layer position for the rig in Saldanha Bay, as well as manage the finances on behalf of the rig owners and operators. One thing about them is they like to have the funds all at one person. So that is a role we normally handle as an agent. They also, the engineering companies, they normally appoint a single engineering company to handle the bulk of the repair and maintenance work on the rig. We call them the site managers, as they will handle the site on the quayside. Access control, safety, all that stuff will be handled by this engineering company. The agent will be doing all the other nitty-gritty little jobs that they require, like getting an ice cream machine, as I had on the last rig, small engineering jobs, providing accommodation, crew transport, anything else they require. There's some weird stuff you get sometimes. Like we said before, in the ease of doing business model, as I explained to Benedicta last time, we are starting to get where we will liaise with the industrial zone in getting the contacts and getting the persons to help us getting these jobs done on board. When a rig first wants to come to a port like Saldanha Bay, the first contact normally will be an agent that they know of. The initial Proforma disbursement account is requested by the owners for the scope of work they require. So if they say they want to come and bring the rig in here for a 6-month layup, and they want to refurbish and rebuild it, they will give us a scope of work, of all the work done, and then we need to give them a costing for this work. If it's too expensive, they will go to Durban or Port Elizabeth or Walvis Bay. That's why we have to make Saldanha Bay an attractive prospect. And we have to have the established and operated infrastructure to be able to assist the rigs when they come to Saldanha Bay. Just to give you a short overrun. So just for the vessel, the rig's arrival or departure, that is some of the costings that is needed. You got to make sure if the vessel is going to go to inner anchorage or alongside, if there is space alongside at one of the berths. The port cost, you have port use, light use, VTS is port control. There's pilotage costs to bring it in and out. There's the tugs that need to assist bringing it in and out. 2 tugs, 3 tugs, sometimes when the bigger rigs, they need 4 tugs. If she comes in onto one of the heavier vessels, they need sometimes up to 5 tugs, as they need to position the vessel, lower it into the water, and then get 2 more tugs to actually tow her off the heavier vessel. Garbage disposal is a function that the port assists with us. Then, if the vessel is going to be in an anchorage, they need to have supply vessels to assist. Just on the logistics side, quayside rental, if they get quayside space, there's cost involved there. Quayside mooring for the supply vessels, office space. They normally have a project team, it can be up to 20, 30 odd people. They need office space. Now, as soon as you get office space, They want tables and chairs. They need to get warehouse space to bring in their stuff. They got exports and imports coming in. Open space to discharge some of the material on board the vessel. Logistical side, there's forklift rental, truck rental. They will require a small engineering company to assist with fixing a small crack on something. But we need to get it in and out. There is personnel moving up and down. They need somebody on the ground as a logistic support for them to help them out. Oh, normally the agent fulfilled the role of their general workers to help them with odd jobs between the quayside and the rig itself. A secretary, we had it on the last one, we got them a secretary on site to help them with 90% of their paperwork on board, and it was a godsend, really. And then lastly, the crew matters. When a rig comes in, it can have up to 200 crew on board. They will go down to a skeleton crew of maybe 60 or 70. Now you can imagine in Saldanha Bay, where do you keep 60 crew members together for a period of 6 months? It is very difficult. We last time struggled a lot. We had, I think, 80% of the guest houses were occupied by crew. Luckily for us, the crew was, I think, 30 odd, which could be handled into one accommodation. And then all the service providers only had 5 or 6 members that came down for a period of 1 week. So each of them had their own bed and breakfast, which they stayed at. Well, besides just that, you have passport processing, meet and assist if they fly through Johannesburg. You've got to transport them from Saldanha Bay to Cape Town and back. Get them at the airports. Sometimes the crew arrive too late. They want to stay in Cape Town for the night. You need to arrange for hotels in Cape Town, hotels in Saldanha Bay. Medical assistance. Sometimes they've requested to have medical services on board at standby on the ground where they're working for. Emergency services they need to have contact details for where they can go and who they can have. But yes, it's all hard work, but like we said, on the last one we've done, you'll see the bottom was the Ben Avon and the Ben Rinus. They were here in 2009, if I'm not mistaken. We did there 2 of them for a period of 6 months. It was brilliant work. We did some charity work as well, which is always a bonus. When the rigs came, they emptied out the pantry, kitchen, fridges, everything, and all that stuff was taken to Siyabonga. It was just before Christmas, I think, and it was an awesome gift to go give it to them. There was also mattresses that came off, a few stuff, and all this were then given to charity. And then, when it's all done, they sail back into the distance, and we wait for the next one. Thank you very much.
So thank you guys for coming. I think I explained to Derick before he came up that we have various businesses in the room. So we have estate agents, we have construction businesses, we have catering businesses, we have engineering companies, we have electrical companies, all in the room today and all come for different reasons. Some of us just want to hear what the oil and gas industry is about. Some of us want to hear what the IDZ is doing. And then others want to find out, okay, but where does my business slot in? So the presentation is done, but you can join us for coffee. Our marketing team is here. I am here. Derick is here. So we can network, we can ask questions, and yeah. So enjoy the rest of have tea and coffee with us, and we'll be here to answer your questions. Thank you.